In the name of Allah, who, while being merciful, is also severe in punishment, the Avenger. This message is not really peaceful, and so I did not start it with the greetings of peace. This is one of the few messages that will be addressed to sisters, specifically not even the bonquishas and the boom shikas anymore, and in this one at least. This message is addressed to the ones who have some sort of black consciousness, pro-blackness about themselves, or claim to, and who ask the question, well, what have you black men built? If you are a black Canadian, black British, or African American woman, or you're even from one of the Caribbean islands, and you have some sort of pro-black orientation, or at least claim, and you ask black men this question in response to black men saying, yeah, but see, you wouldn't go along with anything we come up with anyway, then I'm addressing you in this one. Brothers, you can listen, because I want you to also hear this answer, because oftentimes the one who accomplishes the most forgets what he has accomplished. This message is the answer to that question, actually. And here it goes. The first answer is 4 syllables. Say it with me, dumbass. America. Or United States. Either one is 4 syllables. The second answer, Brazil. The third answer, Cuba. Fourth answer, Jamaica. More answers, Antigua, the Bahamas, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Barbados, Grenada, the Grenadines, Dominica, which is different from the Dominican Republic, Guyana, Suriname, what am I forgetting? Trinidad, the UK, large part of it, some parts of Canada, some parts of Mexico for that matter, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador, Nicaragua even, Panama, especially the Panama Canal. These countries to which you want to go if you're not there, and countries that you would want to visit if you have not visited, but even the countries mentioned therein to which you would not want to move, this is what black men have built. And I'm not just talking about in the United States, because the answer for that one is the United States. That first world infrastructure you do not want to leave behind, and that we should not have to leave behind to get any peace from you. That is what black men have built. Large chunks of the world. We're not the only ones who have built it, but we have built it. We did it at gunpoint. In Africa, well, we've built empires. The Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire, the Ghana Empire. That's just in the regions from which we come, West Africa. Central Africa, the Mani Congo, ruled by the Mwene Mutapa. The Zulu Empire. The Paramouncies that lived before that and had ruled before that and got absorbed into the Zulu Empire. The Great Zimbabwe Empire, and this is just before colonization. Now, after colonization, the nations that are now there, those modern nations, modern day nations of Africa we built, you just don't like that because it's all black and they got robbed. That's all. See, even in the United States, Greenville, Oklahoma, Rosewood, Florida, you see, your grandmother and my grandfather built that together with each other, cooperating. They were not at each other's throats when they built this. When they built these, I should say. Other towns other towns that got destroyed, as well as white towns that did not get destroyed, because let's just be honest, we did that work. When it came to maintaining it, that was your job. When it came to building and repairing it, that was ours for the most part. And there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're not to blame for it. We had guns pointed at our heads for part of the time, and other part of the time we were allowed to collect a few pennies in exchange for it. But the point I'm making is that you and we built. You maintained and cleaned, we built and repaired. We each did what we could do. You're asking the question, Sapphire. See, Boomshika and Bonquisha, they ain't even asking that question. I mean, right now they're busy twerking or actually twerking on a penis. Right now they're busy scheming on trying to get some money out of somebody else. But you have your fist in the air. You're talking about some sort of black awareness, but you don't want to listen to black men, so you come up with this question, even though if you studied history, you would have known what the answer was. I used to be a history teacher, and I specialized in African and pre-Columbian American history. Of course, it was easy to specialize in the history after Columbus because they started writing stuff down. At the end of the day, the point I'm making is that we know doggone well who had to do the heavy lifting, especially in the southeastern United States. Now, it might be a country governed by white men, but they did not build it. They did not go to Africa to kidnap us so that they could build a country themselves. They did it so that they could sit back and say how to build it, and we would do the heavy lifting and the hammering. That's the real truth of the matter. You don't want to talk about that, though. Because if we built it, why don't we have it? Why are we not wealthy? And that's really what you want to ask. But you know that if you ask that, I've got the other answer, because we got robbed. That's why. Kidnapped and robbed. Because gunpowder. Because in the process of building what we did build before we got invaded and kidnapped and separated and colonized, we weren't developing gunpowder for military use like somebody else was, the same one who didn't build much of anything. Until, of course, they visited Northern Africa to see how it was done. Yeah, they don't want to tell you that. So, that's the answer to your question, well, what have you black men built? We built what Massa has. That's what we built. Now, if you want to go to Massa and get it, you can either take it by force or you can steal it. You want to sit up and say, well, that's your job. Well, go ahead and give it a shot, and then you'll at least see why it is that we weren't able to pull that off. Just try it. I know, okay, it's our job. All right, well, just try it and see why it is that we weren't able to pull it off. If you think that we can pull it off after you can't, then we'll be willing to listen to your strategies, but we might need to see some evidence that they can work. You don't have to listen. You have successfully convinced us that you never will, and that's why many of us are going the ways that we're going. That's why it is that that's why I never considered remarrying from amongst the A-dose woman after I got the divorce from my first ex in the United States. Matter of fact, that's why I would not even sign a divorce decree until I was at least religiously married to another woman that's not A-dose, and I had stuck it in her. No divorce till you sign this slip of paper granting legal permission in that country for me to marry her first, and I stick it in her and bust a nut all on the cervix, then I will grant this to you. You better hope to God that she and I do get married, because if not, I'm not going to sign the decree when the judge hands it down. I'm going to contest it. You are going to share this penis with somebody else. Why did I have to make it about the sex? You know damn well why I had to do that. 2 daughters were looking. I had to hit their mother in the right location of the brain, not physically punch her, because she never got violent with me. but I had to psychologically hit her in the right part of the mind so as to stop her from passing on bad advice to them about what to do when you don't get enough jewelry out of a man because somebody else robbed y'all. That's the answer to your question. We did the building. We just didn't rob everybody else for what they built. And I think you know this because that's exactly why it is that you will sit up and tell us black men that we are worth the least out of all men in the world and every other man's better than us. But the only man you will leave us for is white Zaddy, who ironically robbed everybody else and oppressed everybody else, and everyone knows it. See, when we men get together without you all in your hypergamy and your materialism and your feminism, we men understand of the world that the white man is the damn problem. Even the Arabs get that now. They might want to marry a blonde woman because their brainwashing is still there. But even they understand at the end of the day that, hey, guess what? It wasn't Africa that came in and colonized the Middle East. They understand that. They get it. There are certain things that they will do to white teachers here where I am, especially if the white teacher is not Muslim. Especially in that case, certain things they would do to them, they would not do to a black teacher, non-Muslim, let alone one that's Muslim. Black teachers have certain walls these folks don't want to cross, and they don't even realize what it is. That's masculinity for you. They just understand this on a subconscious level. They don't have to think about it. For a black man to get into a fight with an Arab, he has to challenge that Arab. That's what it takes. They don't start physical fights with us. They're more likely to fight with each other. And when I say us, I'm talking about racially, whether it is a black citizen of this nation, a black citizen of another Gulf nation, or a black foreigner that's not from this area. They don't go picking fights with us. They may get in arguments at times, but they do not start fights with us. This is what happens here. And you want to say that we're dominated and every other man looks down on us. I've been around and I've seen that's not the case. Now, I'm going to call you by name. K. Smith, this is the answer to your question, starting with you. Run and go tell that to all the rest. If you want to contribute observations to my channel and comment sections, observations and new information, new stats, I and many others who comment will be glad to read and learn from them. But no more rhetoric. We built what you're sitting in. The internet, how about that? It wasn't a black man by himself, but he's one of those that built what we now use as the internet. But that light bulb you flicked on. Yeah, you see, the one you think invented the light bulb had one that was he invented one type and it was too inefficient. It was another man, a brother, that invented a light bulb that could actually work. And that's the prototype and the basis for what we're now using all around the world. A black man brought the world out of darkness and into light. Literally, all puns intended. That's what black men built. The lawnmower, the fridge, everything that we did not build, we had a hand in developing. Everybody, every man around has invented something, and many women have invented things. But you ain't going to find nothing developed to its current level that we don't have something to do with. And there are a lot of sisters that did this too as well, developed or invented something. But I'm going to let you look that up. And there's another thing I want to tell you all about. Divestment does not mean what you all think it does. Divestment means that either you refuse to invest in something or you pull out an investment that you previously made in something. That's divestment. What the fuck have you invested in black manhood? Huh? I mean, at the end of the day, you wouldn't, let's call it what the hell it is. At the end of the day, you want to sexually invalidate the majority of black men. That's not an investment. Yet that is one of your major contributions at this point. Well, we raised the boys. Hey, you know what? A lot of men would have raised the boys if they had been told that they were fathers or if they had been allowed to do something other than just send in that check. There'd be a lot more fathers in that case. Matter of fact, what about all them black fathers that are raising kids that ain't even theirs, knowingly or unknowingly? because you want to tell black men that we owe it to you all to be stepdads. I think I said enough. I hope that one day what I've said is not true. In the meantime, I hope it's a benefit. Lord have mercy. I can't even greet you in the parting greeting with peace. Can't even do it. Black heart, sign of black out. Black male power just 'cause you don't like it.